I'm just saying, after the sex, then what? Listen, after the sex, then what?
Let's talk about it.
So here's what's so funny to me. I have people literally who will stop me in stores, who will send me emails, who will message me.
Tell them who you are first. They don't know you. People on here for the first time.
Y'all know me. Stop playing. Okay, I'm Dr. Tracy Knighton, half owner of Nova Counseling and Consulting Services in Albany, Georgia, licensed professional counselor.
My name is Lawrence Knighton, and I am pastor of the St. James Baptist Church, Bickerton, Georgia. I am the other half of Nova Counseling and Consulting.
So people stop me all the time, and they ask, either they'll message me or they'll call and they'll go, hey, I want to get premarital counseling. And I tell them that it's premarital coaching, because basically we're coaching you to a better relationship. But the counseling part comes in because you have to deal with your own baggage to be able to have a relationship with someone else. So if you think of coaching and counseling this way, counseling helps to get rid of baggage. Coaching helps you to elevate. So before you can elevate, you got to get rid of baggage, because you can only fly so high if you got baggage on you. So just like with an airplane, they want to make sure that they distribute that baggage appropriately so the airplane can reach its proper altitude to get you to where you got to go. But so many people are interested in coaching because coaching feels better, because all we're talking about is elevation when it comes to coaching. But coaching doesn't allow you to get to the baggage that you need to get rid of before you can actually start elevating.
Okay.
So people ask me all the time, when you and your husband do coaching and counseling, I said, yes, we do. And then I tell them how much it costs to do the sessions with us. They go, oh, really? I said, but here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to spend so much time on the wedding ceremony that's only going to last an hour, but you don't invest in your marriage that's supposed to last a lifetime.
Ooh, that was good.
Think about that. You want to spend all this money on a ceremony.
On a wedding.
Ceremony that's only going to last an hour at the most. But you won't invest, you will not invest in your marriage, which is supposed to last a lifetime. And so I shared this with one lady, Dr. Knighton. She says, when you put it that way,
Makes sense.
she said, I can't afford not to invest in my marriage, because you're right, the ceremony is only going to last a few moments. She said, and although I'll remember everything that goes on with the ceremony, the marriage is what's supposed to last the lifetime. So here we are, because here's the thing, we won't invest in the things that's supposed to give us a great return.
Right.
But we'll invest in something that only makes us look good and feel good for a moment. So after the sex, then what? Because here's the thing, sex ain't gonna last a lifetime. It's just not. I don't care what blue pill you take. Sex is not going to last a lifetime.
Ooh.
It's only going to last a moment. But once that moment is over, then what? Think about that for a second. At the most, the actual act of sex only lasts moments. But then you're left with everything that comes after that. The residue, the emotions, the everything else that comes, the questions you ask yourself. Did we have protected sex? Does he have anything? Did she give me a package? What am I dealing with? Do I have a package? And sometimes a package ain't something that you can give birth to in 9 months. Sometimes that package is something you're going to be carrying for the rest of your life. Here's the thing. After the sex, then what? So I'm going to go back. When I first was a school counselor, in my first year, I'll never forget this, my first year as a school counselor, I had an individual. We were sitting in my office. It was me and the two other counselors that were there. And we had about an office full of about 5 or 6 kids. And they were sharing with me something they had heard back then. It was MySpace. Something they had heard on MySpace. Here we are in this group session, and kids, they love sitting with us. And this group of kids shared with us how certain children didn't view sex as something sacred, but view sex as a way to get something else.
My.
And so in my crazy mind, because back then I was young and foolish, so whatever I thought pretty much came out, I said, that's called prostitution, right?
Ooh.
I'm just saying that's what prostitution is. And the kids shared this. They said, if you can get something by giving something, why is it called prostitution? I said, what do you mean? This is the question they asked. If I can give you something, which is sex, and in return you give me something I want, why is that called prostitution? I said, what happens after you get what you want? I said, do you think about what happens afterwards? And here's what one guy said.
Oh.
It ain't my responsibility to think about what happens afterwards.
Ooh.
I said, what now? Here's what a 16-year-old boy said. It's not my responsibility to think about what happens afterwards. If a girl wants to have sex with me and I can give her what she wants afterwards, it's her job to figure out what she ain't gonna give me. I said, what do you mean? He says, it's her job to be protected. She the one that's gonna get pregnant.
Ooh.
I said, wait a minute, son. I said, do you realize what happens after the sex? He says, no. Miss Tracy, what you talking about after the sex? I get up, I pull my pants up, and I leave. What? He just gets up, pull his pants up, and he leaves.
Okay.
I said, what about the girl? And he says, what about her? It's her job to make sure she's protected. I said, but what if she has something and she gives it to you? He says, what you mean? That right there helped me to understand that nobody is having a conversation with our children about what happens after sex. Sex is not just a physical act. Go back and watch some of our previous episodes where I actually talk about what happens to you physiologically and biologically when you have sex.
Sound like you get mad.
I am. That's why I didn't want to talk about this today. He did. Because it makes me upset that we have these conversations after the fact instead of having these conversations before the fact. Because the truth of the matter is everybody ain't going to be a virgin till they get married. We're not having conversations with our children. But here's the crazy part. The adults are not having conversations. You're supposed to be an adult. So why are you not having conversations with the children in your life?
No, why are you not having conversations with yourself by now?
Oh. See, go ahead. Honey.
And I think that's one of the things that we also got to realize is most of y'all on here, we don't have any babies on here. We should have had conversations with ourselves as it relates to why do I keep going through these relationships with these different people? Yes. Is there something about me that's causing me to feel like I've got to lay down with everybody I meet and get the same results after? Man, don't y'all get me started now. And the point I'm making is we have to change the dynamics. We have to change the thinking so that we can be better equipped as a culture, as a people, to not continue the cycle of what we've been producing all of these years. Are y'all hearing me? Because some of y'all, can I just be honest and just flat out straight with y'all? Mm-hmm. Some of y'all think that your sex is so good that they're gonna stay. And you have realized by now your stuff ain't that great that they're gonna stay with you. Come on, now let's just be honest, because some of y'all think that, oh, somebody done told you that you got the golden, whatever, and the bottom line is,
y'all know what you want,
guy or girl, somebody told you that you got the magic thing, and somebody told you
the magic mic.
And the thing is, all y'all should have seen by now, even if the sex is so great, eventually the question becomes, what are you talking about? What kind of conversations are you having? Is he helping you to go to the next level of your life? Is he pushing you to be the best you that you can be? Or are you just dropping it like it's hot every time they want it? Let's talk.
Now you said you're talking about me getting upset.
Yeah.
Like you getting upset.
Yeah. You don't understand. There's a whole lot that goes after this.
After
all of these
sex,
kids who are coming up in these single parent homes, by now we should have learned.
By now. Listen, sex don't keep them. Sex only does one thing. It satisfies you for the moment.
Here's something else. I'm so adamant about making sure that we push this point right here. The point I'm trying to make is, at some point, we have to realize that for ladies, for women, it's more than just the sex for y'all.
It is.
When you have a sexual relationship with a man, because you're wired differently, now your emotions, now your feelings, now all of that is a part of your DNA per se.
It's tied up in there.
It's tied up in there. Hear me now. There's another thing I want to get you to understand. And some of y'all have had so many different sexual partners, and now when a great guy comes along, he may be a great guy, great communicator, great this, great that, but watch this. But because he can't perform like somebody who you remember, you don't get into him like you really want to. Come on now, y'all tell the truth. Let me say it a different way. Because see, some of y'all acting like you on that, like that went over your head. No. Some of y'all done had somebody to rock your world so good. Now here comes a good man, but because he cannot perform the way that Mr. Joe did, Mr. Whoever did, now you don't want to invest in him because he can't rock your world. Now, if you hadn't been in so many different relationships sexually, you wouldn't know what rocking the world would be like. So. If I said something, y'all act like y'all know what I'm talking about.
They so quiet. I see crickets.
Y'all quiet. Well,
it go both ways.
Because
a woman can make sure she hit it just the right way, and you lose your mind. But the thing is,
let me say it before I forget now.
Yeah,
I'm a little older than you.
Go ahead.
Because some of y'all be singing that song like Michael Jackson. You rock my world. You rock my world. Okay, let me stop.
Okay, we're going to take it down a notch.
Take it down a notch.
Take it down a notch. Here's a visual that I give. Here's the visual that I give kids all the time. Ladies, imagine that you are a nice big cup of milk.
Okay.
Men, imagine that you're an Oreo.
This girl here got some analogies. So women are a cup of milk, and men are Oreos. Okay, let's hear it.
So men, imagine that you're crumbling up your Oreo inside of a woman's nice big white cup of milk.
Okay, this is about to get good. I feel it.
Okay.
I feel it in the
spirit.
And
for every man that's been with you, ladies, it's another Oreo in your cup.
Ooh.
Some of you may only have one Oreo. Some of you may have 5 or 6 Oreos.
Some of y'all got about 10 bags.
Some of y'all got a whole cup full of Oreos. I'm just saying. Okay. Now, everybody got their visual?
Now, what about the man now? What we got?
Y'all got the Oreos.
So what we need to put ours in?
Yeah, I'm about to get you.
Okay.
Now.
My cup gonna be full.
Y'all ready?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Who wants to drink the cup?
Ooh. That nasty.
I'm just saying. Who wants to drink the cup?
So for every man that a woman did with, she crumbled up the cookies in there. And then you're saying, who wants to drink that? That nasty.
I'm just saying. Because every time a man dips his Oreo in that cup, that's another man in there. But ladies, remember, you're the cup. So everything that's been in there is still in there. See, men don't think about, I'm going to just hit it and get it and move on. No, sir, you're still dipping your Oreo in that cup that has everybody else's Oreo in there.
Ooh.
So now let me ask the question.
That gave me a different vibe then.
Who wants to drink the cup of milk and Oreo cookies? I'm just saying. So when we think about what's after sex, that's literally what your body goes through, ladies, when we have sex. Men, that's literally what your body goes through when you have sex. After sex, then what? Oh, you've dipped in now. Now what we going to do after we've done all this dipping? How do we protect ourselves? And not just physically, I'm talking about mentally. I'm talking about emotionally. I'm talking about spiritually. I'm even talking physically here. What do you do? When you think about it, when you give yourself that visual, does that help you understand what we really do? We are designed to be connected. But here's the thing. We're designed to be connected with the right one. And we're so busy trying to connect with everybody else that our milk's starting to look real shady because we don't do what we need to do on the front end. Listen, I was watching Eden, Planet Earth. Y'all know we like our nature shows. I was watching this Thursday night while I was sitting here chilling at the house. But there is a spider out there that the woman, the female part of the spider, not woman, the female spider, when she is ready for the man to be a suitor to her, she lets off a type of scent. Then she puts a sticky glue on herself off of a tree.
I got you.
Okay? And then when the male spider comes along, If he can wrestle her and still stay on after
He got that sticky stuff.
she gets that sticky stuff on her, then she allows him to go in. And when she feels she's had enough, she knows what she has to do to get him off of her. He's won the ability to mate with her. Did you get that?
Ooh,
Okay.
I feel something coming.
She makes the decision to let him in based on what he does to prove himself to be a worthy enough, capable enough spider to procreate with her. These ain't human beings I'm talking about. These are animals who know what to do to prove yourself worthy to be able to mate with me. Y'all ain't feeling the spiders. Let me give you a bird. Okay, there is a bird in the Amazon who, when he is ready to mate, because they mate for life, when he is ready to mate, he goes and builds a nest for her. Then the female birds come along and they check out the nest. They look to see how good the nest looks on the outside. They even go in and poke on in the inside to see what the nest looks like. They check it out before they even decide whether or not he's worthy enough to spend the rest of their lives with him based on, get this, based on the job that he's performed to prepare for her. When she decides it's the right one, guess what she goes and does? She goes and gets her greenery that she wants in the nest. She puts it in the nest to signal to him she's ready. He then goes in the nest and they create a family together and they mate for life. Check this out. If the birds can figure out what they need to do to mate for life, if they figured out, I've got to make sure I got the nest right. I got to make sure that I've made it out of sturdy materials.
Ooh, wow.
I got to make sure that I look good. I got to make sure that I present not only my outside right, but my inside's got to look right too. Because check this out. This female ain't going just in any old bird's nest. She's going in the right one.
It's my turn now. Here is the problem. The problem with many of us, we're looking at the external and not trying to figure out if they fit you internally, because it's your internal that's more important than your external. Oh, girl, you fine. But do you have anything on the inside of you? Do you have somebody that can speak to the internal part of you? Do you have anybody that can listen to me, that can say, listen, girl, go back and get that degree. Go and open up that business. Do you have anybody speaking to you from that angle? And if not, they're just concerned about the external. I said this before, you need to find somebody that fits your future and not your fantasy.
That's it. After sex, then what? These birds and these spiders know that when we mate for life.
Mate for life.
We do what we got to do on the front end.
On the front end.
Think about that. These birds know what to do on the front end to make sure they stay together for the rest of their lives. They mate for life. How many of us, when we think about it, can say that we've made decisions to be intimate with somebody else, to have sex with somebody else with the rest of our lives in our DNA and our thoughts?
That's never the case for the most part. We don't think like that.
But animals do.
Animals do.
Think about that for a second.
If animals know all this,
why don't we know? Why don't we know that when we do this, we are to do this knowing what the end is? Did y'all get that? After sex, then what?
Question is, why do women think he is the right one when everyone else can see that it's not going to work? What is it that the individual misses up front?
She ain't missing nothing up front. She in denial. She wants.
Say that. You went too fast with that.
I didn't.
Say that one more time. I'm gonna come get it too.
She's not missing anything. She's in denial. Here's the thing. She wants so desperately to be in a relationship that she's overlooking everything that you all see. And the more that you all bring to her attention what's not right, the more she digs her heels in because she wants to make him right. She wants to stay in this relationship because she's so afraid of being by herself, because she thinks she can do bad by herself. But the truth of the matter is she can do good by herself, and staying in a relationship that everybody here's the thing. If you think of it like this, if there's a bottle of Coca-Cola on the counter and it has some poison in it, and there's a bottle of water on the counter, and on the outside of the bottle, it says poison, but it looks good. Which one do you think most people are going to go for? Most of the people are going to go for the water, aren't they? No matter how good that poison looks. There are some people, and I'm not saying this about everybody, but there are some people who don't think they deserve better than the poison. Because here's the thing. They've been with so many poisonous people that poison almost feels normal. Did y'all catch that? They grew up in so much dysfunction. They've been a part of so much dysfunction that dysfunction and poison feels normal. So even if you tell me, Tracy, don't drink that, that's poison. Tracy, don't drink that, that's poison. But I see the word Coca-Cola on there, I'm going to go for the Coke. Because even though I know the Coke is bad for me, the Coke feels right. The Coke looks right. The Coke tastes right, even though I know the Coke is bad for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
I don't have anything to say behind that.
You the one gave me the question.
I just gave what the lady said. That's all she said.
See what I'm working with. So what do you do to help somebody like that? Listen, all you can do is continue to support them because you speak truth to them. The truth is, sis, what is it that you're seeing in this man that none of us are seeing? Sis, what is it about this man that makes you think he's the right one? Because here's what we're seeing that makes him not be the right one at this moment. Because the more you tell her he's not the right one, the more reason she's gonna dig in. So so what you're trying not to do is to make him a demon, but what you're trying to do is build her up so that she can elevate her thinking about herself. Does that make sense? Okay.
One of the things that I mentioned even last week, I think was when in our segment, one of the things I really want y'all to hear me on is the notion that you have to have something more than sex.
More.
You have to have something more sustaining than sex. Sex is temporary.
Momentarily.
But you gotta understand there needs to be something here internally that we can have a conversation about. Now,
do you know what the biggest sex organ is?
Your brain.
There you go. It's not what's between your legs.
Some of y'all didn't know that, so let me say that
Okay.
again. The biggest sex
organ
organ in your body is your brain.
It's not what's between your legs.
Just
If
check it out
your
yourself.
mind is not right, listen.
Nothing
everything
else.
that goes along with it, your hormones, the feel-good drugs, all of that, your sleeping, your ability to navigate your day in and day out, it's your brain. Your brain is your biggest sex organ. It controls everything else. So if your brain is not healthy, everything else is not going to be healthy.
Now,
so
look,
it's not what's between your legs.
So can I prove,
it's what's between your ears.
that's the case of the brain? Because brothers, watch this now. There have been times, if y'all tell the truth, that you've been so excited about something, about her, about trying to get it.
What?
And your brain was saying, yes, I'm going to get it, but the other part of you couldn't go nowhere.
The other brain
couldn't do nothing. God, y'all like y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all better act like I'm saying. And the lady standing there like, it must be something wrong with me. No, it's just that the sex brain, the biggest brain, let me go somewhere else. Because y'all don't like to be real, huh? Okay. I'm sorry.
We just try to keep it real, raw, and relevant.
Here's the thing now. Here's the thing that I'm saying now. And I want you to hear me on this. Now, I'm being honest about this. I'm always honest about everything I'm saying.
Right.
But here's the thing I really want you to get. The Bible says that we are spirit, soul, and body. Mm-hmm. I said this the other week.
Did y'all catch that order?
The Bible says
Did y'all get the order?
Spirit, soul, and body. The problem is we are trying to find somebody, or we're hooking up with people, should I say, who are good for our body, but they jacked up for our spirit.
Ooh, come on now.
They're good for our body, but they can't speak to our soul, to our mind, the compartments of our soul, our imagination, our reasoning, our intellect. They can't speak to that. And you got to understand, you need to listen to me. Linda, listen. The point I'm making is you got to have somebody that speaks to something other than your body.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, you won't have that body much longer. What you thought was, oh my God, he is fine. Oh man, she banging on every level. Listen, that's going to fade. And here's the thing. I'm willing to bet that even some of you ladies who are on watching now, some of you men who are on watching now, you've had sex with someone. And after you finish, you ask yourself this question: what the hell was I thinking? And you get in your car and you ask yourself that question.
You go home asking yourself again.
While you in the shower, washing it off, trying to figure out, what did I just do?
Or you wake up from the club that you met her that night. And you look over at her like, what the heck did I just get into? And you're like, Harry, baby, let me take you home.
Woo! I ain't gonna say how many. I don't want you to put on there. Don't throw no shade on yourself like that. But you've been in that situation before.
Not all y'all.
Not all y'all.
No,
some of y'all.
Not all y'all.
All y'all. Not all y'all. Just some of y'all. But when you do that, here's the thing. You start doubting your own ability to make good decisions. As a matter of fact, you beat up on yourself for a few hours. Some even for a few days. Like, I can't believe that. And listen, don't mess around and have unprotected sex. You trying to find every pregnancy kit you can find to make sure you ain't carrying something that you don't want to deal with. And so there's that anxiety that goes after that. And so that's the conversation we don't have with our young people. That's the conversation. Heck, that's the conversation we don't even have with ourselves sometimes. Listen, is it worth that temporary fix for me to be anxious afterwards? Is it worth that temporary fix for me to have low self-esteem and low self-image afterwards? Is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Think about that for a second. So if you're feeling that way as an adult, for those of you who are parents, and shame on you if you hadn't had this type of real, raw, and relevant conversation with your children, and you haven't explained to them what this feels like. There are 15-year-olds who have had multiple sex partners at 15.
Multiple already.
Multiple. Their Oreo, their milk gonna look something serious by the time they get in their 20s and 30s. Think about that for a second. I'm just saying.
No, they're going to be eating them chocolate Oreos.
What?
So this is what I'm saying now. I want y'all to hear me on this. Because I don't really think, listen to me good now, hear me good, seriously. I don't really think we, men and women, especially women, really, now let me talk to the women first. I don't think women really understand that when you connect to that individual sexually, right? Mm-hmm. You don't realize that you're taking on more than just semen, more than just the sperm.
Right.
Right? That's why, like now, right?
All of that.
You're taking all of it. So for instance, here you hook up with a guy, or fellas, you hook up with a woman, and you end up having a child, right? Watch this now. Watch this. This is facts. And watch this. And there's some type of mental health issues with that family history. Schizophrenia, bipolar, whatever the case may be. You can't see that at the onset, at the beginning. You don't really, matter of fact, most times we're overlooking stuff that we're like, okay, that, some days she's happy, some days she like Nightmare on Elm Street, but you don't realize that's a sign possibly of schizophrenia or bipolar, or some days, and here, watch this now, here you are having sex with her and you're having a baby with her, and now you're trying to figure out why your child is acting out, or your child is like, wow, this kid got some type of demonic. No, it's not demonic. It's called mental illness. And I'm dealing with that with, not me, I'm saying I know a couple that's dealing with that now. Their child is always, and I asked them a question because they had no clue. They didn't even think about this. I was asking them, so they were telling me, man, every time I'm tired of the teachers calling me all the time about my child, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. I asked him a question. I said, let me ask you something. Is there some type of mental health issues in that family? He got quiet for a minute. He said, Yeah. I said, well, welcome to the family. You just connected to someone because of sex that now you got to deal with the residue
of your life.
The rest of your life, dealing with the residue of mental illness that's now impacted your child.
Exactly. And that's considered a trauma, to grow up with a parent who has unchecked baggage,
Mental
but
health.
also has unmedicated mental health issues.
Unmedicated.
Or they're not unmet needs, unmet mental health needs. So it doesn't always necessarily mean medication, but even if they're not going to counseling to get the support that they need to be able to manage their mental health at that time, that's a type of trauma. So when you think about this, yes, sex is momentarily, but what are the after effects after that? You know, what are we doing after the sex? What happens when you don't call no more? What happens when you don't come around no more? What happens that I've given myself to you and you act like I was nothing more than a couple of good hours for you? What do I deal with after that?
Right. Emotionally, you're being, tortured.
I'm just saying.
Because you're dealing with the fact, okay, he know I'm pregnant, and now he ain't answering the phone.
You can't find him.
Vice versa. I mean, not putting this all on the guys. I'm saying women, sometimes can try to put a child on you that they know wasn't yours.
Say that one more time.
Yeah. Women will put a child to say that's his, knowing that you've been sleeping with Lolly Dottie and everybody, and you're putting it on the man, knowing that you've been sleeping with some other people.
And it ain't his. Come on now, y'all talk real. Y'all scared?
After the sex, then what?
Okay.
Come on now,
Mama.
Let's talk.
Mama Menace says, after the booster shot, then what?
Yeah, really. After the booty call, then what?
Ooh.
And see, we did a segment one time on soul ties, right? We did a segment on soul ties, and a lot of people.
A few years ago.
A lot of people don't really understand. This thing is
soul
real.
Ties
now,
are
we talking
real.
about soul ties. I heard one guy talking about, there's no such thing as soul. Yes, it is. And
a
what we
soul
mean by that is you can be so emotionally connected. And I can go a little deeper than that, but I'm just going to put it in layman terms tonight.
And I won't use the word connected, honey. I'll say attached.
Attached. That's what I'm going to say.
Because a connection could mean.
But there are still people who are connected to somebody. That
do both. Do connection and attached. Yeah.
There are people who have, watch this now, that relationships have been gone for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, and they're still at a place where they can't get past that. They watch this. They're in the bed with their husband, but their mind is attached to the other guy or the other woman, for that matter. Come on now, you talking about ain't no connection? But your mind on the other side of town. Yeah.
But your mind is on the other side of town.
You sound like the OJs or somebody, girl. Angela, what? You heard that? And she was in tune for the first time.
I can't.
But listen to me now. Here's the thing that we gotta start having more conversations. Let me just tell y'all like this. Yes, I'm a pastor, but yes, I like to have genuine conversations with people.
Right.
Because we skate over stuff for too long, too much, and we don't give people real information that can help them. Like when people come to me for marital counseling, come to us for marital counseling, listen now, I said, I'm going to give you some scripture. We're going to talk about a man ought love his wife as Christ loves the church. But I said, I promise you, 90% of my conversation going to be about some real stuff that you need to know.
Real stuff, day to day. Because we ain't dismissing the scripture, but the truth of the matter is real life happens.
Real life happens.
It does.
I'm going to give you all the scripture that you got to have. I promise you. I'm going to mix it up. But the majority of my conversation going to be about some real stuff. Okay, you got... he's got some other children, you got some other children. Okay, so y'all need to get ready for that baby mama, baby daddy drama. That's just a part of life. You might as well just get ready for it. I'm saying to you now, just know that, listen, you talking about you get ready to get married to her and you got a couple of kids with the other lady, just know it's coming. It's coming. And so we talk about real stuff because, listen, that's just life. It's coming.
That's it. What happens after sex? Guess what? You still got a life to live after sex. How do you deal with all of that fallout? How do you deal with the relationship not working after sex?
How do you deal with him not supporting or her not supporting the child that you got custody of? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the fact that he's now taking his other lady out and supporting her kid and ain't doing nothing for you? Those are the after effects of that what happens after sex. Then what? Now you want to do something crazy to her or him for what? Should have jumped on that
beforehand.
Let's just have a conversation.
What they saying, honey?
Let me just go. Let me tell y'all honestly again now. I've not always done the right thing. No. I got one biological son.
I'm sorry. If you've always done the right thing, please raise your hand.
I have not always done the right thing. I got one biological son, and I had him when I was married because I said I didn't want to.
And we got a daughter 3 years ago.
Being like, no, I want to. When I have a child, I want to be married. And that's what I did. Now I ain't knocking anybody else who didn't have one when you were married, but I'm saying that's what I wanted to do. Because I had seen so many other people just act like this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to have sex and have babies, and now we got 70-something% of our kids growing up in single parent front. No, that wasn't supposed to be like that. Let's just go and tell the truth. Now tell the truth, shame the devil. And that's the problem that we're having. That's why we got so many young men in jail, in prison, doing all kind of crazy stuff. And I'm not talking about just the men, even the women, because they don't have no guidance. They don't have the parenting. And too many young parents having babies young, and they're having babies young. I was talking to my sister a few weeks ago because I thought that 29, she was telling me this about 5-6 years ago that, had launched. She said, guess what? I had this girl come in my office, this lady come in my office. She's a grandma at 29 years old. And so when I was talking to her a few weeks ago. Yeah, and so when I was talking to my sister a few weeks ago, she said, listen now, I beat that 29. I said, you beat 29 years old for grandma? She said, yep. I had a 27-year-old come in here that's a grandma.
Did y'all catch that? 27.
Let me tell y'all what I don't do at my church. I want y'all to hear me on this now. I don't celebrate. I ain't still having no baby shower for nobody who ain't married. I'm not. I'm just talking about y'all.
And we understand that babies are a gift from God, and they're not responsible for how they get here.
But I ain't getting on nobody's page who got a baby out of wedlock talking about congratulations. I'm just talking about me.
Because that's choice behavior.
That's just me. I'm not knocking anybody that has it. I'm just saying me. I'm not getting on there talking about congratulations or all that good. No, I'm not doing that.
Angela,
because what I'm going to be doing, when I do that, only thing I'm going to be doing is saying that's okay. And it's not.
Right. And the truth of the matter is the 29-year-old never had a conversation with the 15-year-old, and the 15-year-old is never going to have a conversation with the one that's getting ready to have the baby now. It's generational. And so we don't have these conversations about what happens after sex. Let's not have conversations about what happens after sex. Let's have conversations about what leads up to sex. How many of you all remember having these conversations about sexuality and what sex looks like and what it stands for and what it means when you have sex? We talk about it, the biological part of it, but we don't talk about all this other stuff that goes along with it.
Exactly.
And so you're left, catch this, you're left to figure out what happens after sex on your own. Because nobody has a conversation with you about what happens afterwards. They talk about, make sure you take that pill now. We don't want no grandchildren in here. Make sure you wear a condom now. We don't want no grandchildren in here. But we don't talk about the emotional impact of sex after the fact. Our time is just about up.
But I want to say this. Let me just go a little further, because even women, right, who have daughters, even in 2021, most women are even talking to their daughters about, okay, now you're going to have a cycle. You're going to have a menstrual cycle. And so here
what
they
does that
are,
mean?
right?
What does it look like?
Because nobody went into detail with you, you don't go into detail with your daughter. And I'm not saying all, but I'm saying a good portion of our people, our parents, are still not talking to our kids about reality. Reality meaning stuff that's going to happen.
Exactly. And that's the one thing I can say now. I say this all the time. My parents were wonderful parents, but they sucked at being married. And so we had conversations about the physical part. But again, my parents never had conversations about the flip side. What happens to you emotionally?
Right. And even Kiwanis, Ms. Booker says that biological, but not emotional standpoint was discussed.
Exactly.
And it's the emotional that really makes the bigger difference.
It's the emotional part. Right.
Everything that goes along with that, with the after effects of sex.
Exactly. Even when, here's the thing. We've been married for a number of years. We'll be married 19 years in September.
That's right.
Okay.
Get it right, girl.
He kind of liked me a little bit, y'all. But here's the thing.
I'm going to trade in for a newer model, though.
That's our running joke. He's going to trade me in for a newer model. But here's the thing. Even with that, even when a man and a woman and a husband and wife decides to get physical and y'all been together all these years, there's still a biological thing that takes place. There's still a biological part of you that takes place after you've had sex. And you've been married all these years. So imagine what happens now that you ain't even married. You don't even know if you're going to keep seeing this person. You don't even know if you're in the long haul. You don't even know if this person feels the same way about you that you feel about them. You don't even know if they're carrying a package. You don't even know if they're going to answer your phone call afterwards. You don't even know if they got another woman on the other side of town.
Okay.
You don't even know whether or not they're going to give you what you need even afterwards. You don't know those things. So can you really be intimate with somebody at a deeper level, at a level that really feels good and feels that there's a true connection and an attachment to somebody? Can you really do that in all honesty with yourself? Or are you just going through the motions to get a itch fulfilled at the time?
Can you be like a penguin or the bird in the Amazon or that spider?
That's what we asked.
And if you didn't get on here to hear those analogies, go back and watch it. Because we done for the night.
That's it. It's a wrap, y'all. We finished.
It's a wrap. Listen, I pray that
we
something...
went from the virus to some animals.
I pray that something has been said tonight that will help us to understand we ain't really going to all, but a good portion of the things that comes after sex. You need to be able to have something to talk about after sex.
Yeah.
You need to be able to have a plan, going forth in your life after the sex. As a matter of fact, the best thing to do, as I said the other week, is for those of y'all who are in relationships and not married, the best thing y'all can do for yourselves, if you really want to know what your relationship is all about, stop having sex and see what the conversations are like. I think I need to close with that. I'm going to say that again. For those of y'all, because everybody ain't gonna be celibate until they get married, because everybody may not get married. So for those of y'all who still want to have sex, that's fine. I'm not telling you what to do with your life. Only thing I am telling you, stop having sex and see what the conversations are like.
Yep. If you just want to see, if you just want to know,
you want to see.
Inquiring minds want to know. If you really want to know, that's all you got to do. That's all we saying.
See what the conversations are like.
That's it. Good people.
I'm talking about guy and girl.
Good
bro, see what she got. See what she got upstairs. That can help you. Sis, see what he got.
That's it.
Upstairs.
Inquiring minds want to know. Y'all good?
We good.
Everybody all right?
Y'all all right tonight?
Okay.
Listen, appreciate y'all coming on. I don't have my book in front of me right now because we transitioned from one show to the next, but I did write a book called Just go get it. That's fine. I wrote a book called If It's Love, It Will Last. If It's Love, It Will Last. The book is about building solid, godly relationships. Some of the chapters in the book is titled, What is Love? Why Men Have Not Learned to Love. A Woman's Expectations. Are You Carrying Excess Baggage? Here's My Heart. If it don't fit, don't force it. The Nile is not a river in Egypt. Cannot be me. I don't remember if I mentioned that. But listen, the last chapter, not the last chapter. The last chapter is actually called If It's Love, It Will Last. The chapter before that, I think, is called What Does God Say? Right. What does God say? Are y'all hearing me? And so my book, you can find it on the website, myrelationshipmovement.com, myrelationshipmovement.com. I need y'all to subscribe to My Relationship Movement. As a matter of fact, we got a YouTube channel that I'm going to start downloading all these videos on. The page, I'm going to put it up next week, is My Relationship Movement on YouTube. And so I want to start putting all of our videos on there. I'm going to start having some ebooks ready. I'm going to start having some regular books ready. I've got to get busy and start fulfilling the purpose that God has for my life, which is continue writing books, continue giving information that can help bless people's lives. And so again, we thank y'all so much. My friend Pastor John Wooden wrote a book called Don't Judge Me Unless You Walked in My Shoes. Another powerful book. Listen, he deals with the private storms that he had to deal with, the storm of betrayal, the storm of just a whole lot of stuff. Great book. So if y'all want to get his book or my book, just hit me up in Atlanta. So thank y'all so much for coming on.
Were y'all
appreciate
blessed tonight? Did y'all enjoy the conversation tonight?
Enjoy the conversation.
We
If
just
y'all enjoyed
went.
the conversation, y'all show a brother some
Let's see some love before
show
we
a
get off.
sister some love before we get off of here. Y'all show some love.
Let's see some love
And give us
before we
a
get
comment. Give us a topic that y'all want us to talk about. We're
All
gonna
right,
keep it
I
real
see a
with
little
y'all.
bit of love.
We see a
Okay.
little love coming up.
I see a little love
see
coming up.
love.
All
If y'all
right.
got a topic for us, y'all send it to us.
We ain't
Cause what?
scared.
We ain't scared.
We
We'll
ain't
talk
scared.
about whatever.
We ain't scared.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all be blessed, and we'll see y'all
Yes.
next
Bye-bye.
week. Take care.